Well, that didn't last long.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Swing for the fences on Sleeper Picks, and you can win up to 100 times your money. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code Locked On, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, so check out Sleeper today. It's currently operational in over 30 states. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, happy Friday.
They won one game. I'll say this before we start. Really, they're fighting. The last 2 days they fought. I'll take that. Thank you guys so much for clicking on the show. You guys know what day it is. It's Friday, which means it's Fanmail Friday, which means you run the show. We have a whole bunch of questions to get to later on in the show, ranging from Gleyber Torres to the front office to Austin Wells. We have a whole bunch of stuff to get to. That's later on in the show. First, Stacey, the Yankees lost the series 2 of 3 to the Nationals. We talked about it. The Nationals have been playing good baseball lately, so this isn't extremely surprising. Maybe this is, however, 10 straight series without a series victory for the Yankees. Last time they did win a set was July 21st through 23rd against the Kansas City Royals. So it's been over a month since a series victory. Of course, there were a couple splits in there as well. They're 6-15 in their last 21 games since the start of August 1st. That's the second worst record in baseball in that span. So things are going great. One thing that is going great, Stacey, Aaron Judge is playing out of his mind right now. Last 2 games have been incredible. Another homer yesterday.
Yeah, that was kind of hilarious because you kind of felt it, it felt like Wednesday night was kind of a turning point for him, and because he had been quiet, and just another home run. He made a really good defensive play, nailing another Washington runner at second. That was the theme of
what
the
was going
series.
on there? Guys, stop running.
I wish I could have bet on how many outs were going to be made at second during the series by the Washington Nationals, or at least had like $5 for every play, because there were a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think FanDuel has it that minuscule. I know they really go in, but that's intense. But I mean, 4 bombs in the set, of course, back-to-back games. He goes 3 on the second game, and of course, yesterday afternoon hits the solo shot to open up the scoring. Yankees ended up losing 6-5 in it. Wasn't for lack of trying offensively from the guys you want to be doing things. Judge goes 1 for 4 with that homer. He does walk as well. Stanton, massive game for Giancarlo Stanton, 4 for 5, hits a solo shot. He also brings in another one with an RBI single. And then Gleyber, 2-run shot in the bottom of the third to give him the lead at that point. Like, the offense, 5 runs isn't like blow you out of the water, but I mean, go Stanton with a 4-hit game. Gleyber goes deep. Judge goes deep. I mean, that's the way everyone drew it up when we're coming out of spring.
Yeah, those are the guys that you expected to hit the ball. If Rizzo were healthy, you'd expect him to hit the ball. And it was good to see those 3 guys in the middle of everything. One thing I do want to mention, Everson Pereira, a double for his first hit in the majors. Yeah, good for him. That was a good moment.
Trying to get that off his shoulders. It was over his first 9, I believe.
Yeah.
But he is able to get that done. Stacey, on the pitching front, we had conjured that Michael King would start, and he ended up starting. 2 2/3, gives up a hit, an unearned run, a pair of walks, and 3 strikeouts. Would you call this a start, or are you still thinking this was an opener?
I think that was more of an open. I think it's still an open.
It seemed a bit of an audition type, because they elected to go with it this time. Could have easily just let Brito start, but they didn't. So I mean, I'm curious to see how it continues to advance. I'm very intrigued by this, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I really don't. I think Michael King could be a decent starter. Remiss if we didn't bring up Keynan Middleton.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we've said his name since he got traded to the Yankees.
Since we were doing the live stream and thinking, that's the move they're making? Yeah.
Still, that question still lingers. But You can't argue with how he has played for the Yankees. He goes an inning and a third with 3 Ks yesterday. How about this? The numbers: 9 games for Keynan, 11 innings, 4 hits, only 1 run, 3 walks, and 14 strikeouts in about a month of baseball. That, or just over 3 weeks. I mean, that is stellar. That's stellar numbers.
Yeah, because his numbers, when we looked at them when he came over, you're thinking, okay, this is an interesting move, but maybe the change of scenery has helped, because I know some things were going on in the clubhouse over there in Chicago, and some guys were talking about it, and maybe he just feels more relaxed. But it's kind of funny because he came over to a team that's falling off a cliff, and he's pitching this well. So he's one of the bright spots in not so bright month of August for the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some good stretches. He's had some bad stretches throughout his career. He's kind of a up and down pitcher throughout his major league career. We're catching him on and up here. Brito goes 2 1/3. Stace gives up a hit and an earned run with 2 strikeouts. Did Aaron Boone pull him too early?
Yes.
I mean, in hindsight, yes, but at the time, were you thinking that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I knew where he was going to go, and I thought, this isn't going to work out well. It's so funny how some of us watching the game can feel things before they happen, because I wasn't the only one who felt this way. And I don't know, it's just the way the season's going.
Yeah. He brings in Kahnle there. Man, tough series for Tommy Kahnle. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 3 earns, gives up a couple of homers, 2 strikeouts to get those 2 outs. In the 2 games he pitched in this set, he takes both losses. Ends up going an inning and 2/3, 4 earned, 3 bombs. That was a nightmare series for Tommy Kahnle.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know what he's going to shave next to snap that nightmare, because, he does a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, I hope he doesn't shave his head. That would be weird. Let's not do that. But he's got to figure out what's going on, because it's the changeup that seems to be the problem.
Yeah, it's really, really struggling right now. Clay Holmes kind of struggled to get that last out, ended up giving up what ended up being the winning run, weirdly enough. So that clearly was not the place he wanted to go there. I mean, he had another ball hit back to him. That was a tough play. It was raining. It was off the end of the glove. Yeah, that was a tough play. Oswald couldn't glove it at third. Tough play as well. So it's just wasn't in the cards. Just wasn't in the cards. And we've said it 1,000 times. Stop me if you heard this before. They have to be perfect in order to win, and they were not perfect on Thursday. Stacey, I'm rarely perfect. Nay, I'm never perfect. And I think we're going to find that out again. We made bold predictions before the series started. Let's see who was right and who was wrong. What's your bold prediction? Which direction are you taking?
Rodon goes 6 innings and only gives up 2 runs.
So you're staying positive. You're staying positive. I'm going to go on the negative side for the first time this year. I've never done this. Every Dares know I've never done this. Yankees get shut out in 2 of these 3 games. You know what? I'm going to do something else new.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to wager a 0.5 point. So if I get that correct, I win 1.5 points.
Okay.
I'm going to wager. If I'm incorrect, I lose 0.5 point. I was really feeling it. I was really feeling it at that time. I almost got 1 shutout if it weren't for Ben Rortvedt hitting that solo shot in the opener. But Stacey,
I was close.
He did better than predicted for you. 6 innings, 1 run for Carlos Rodon. That's the best bold prediction of the year, I think. But save our subtexter the other day calling for 3 Judge homers. But I mean, I think that was your best work. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And with my wager and me losing 0.5 point, Stacey, you have a pretty wide lead now. 4-2. You lead the bold prediction scoreboard 4.0 to 2.0. And I'm the Yankees right now. I'm falling off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, this is the risk you take with bold predictions.
Yeah, that's just but I'm quickly learning that you are becoming the master, and I'm yet the young Padawan once more. I was so good at the beginning of the season, or beginning of when we started doing this a couple months ago, and then I fell off a cliff. It was once I called Volpe to homer twice in one game. That was when I really, because I got like the first 3, and then here I am. I'm on a losing streak. It hasn't reached 9 yet, but I'm on a losing streak. Hey, leave us your bold predictions in the comment section here today for the Rays series, which starts this weekend. You can listen to that on SiriusXM. As you guys already know, download the SiriusXM app today. While you're in that comment section, of course, you can always leave questions for Fanmail Friday, which we are going to do next. We'll have our subtexters first. They get priority on Fanmail Friday, so stick around for a couple of really good questions.
Want the chance to win more money with fewer picks? Head to Sleeper, where you can win up to 100 times your money on just 2 or more fantasy baseball picks. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 5 million active users. At Sleeper, it's not just about sports, it's about building personal connections and lasting memories. I'm Staceface826 if you'd like to connect with me over there. With Sleeper, predict the hottest baseball stats like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy baseball skills. Entries can be made in 30 seconds or less. It's that easy. Download Sleeper in your app store and use promo code LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. It's currently operational in over 30 states, so check out Sleeper today.
Back here on Locked On Yankees, it is Fan Mail Friday, as everybody knows here, Stacy. We have to get to some questions. Of course, subtexters get priority on Fan Mail Friday. That's what we do around these parts. And thank you to all our new subtexters. We had a couple of them here this week. We really appreciate it. If you want to check out subtext, you can have one-on-one text conversations with Stacy and myself. You also get roster moves and in-game thoughts. You get breakdowns of Luis Severino when I'm watching him and things like that. So sign up for subtext. Of course, again, it is free for 14 days. Check out the episode description to find that. These are our subtexters questions. Stacy, this is coming from Eric, and I feel like this has a different feel to it now. Asking us, would you sign Gleyber to a long-term deal? Man, Stace, I'm in a state of limbo right now with this one. I don't know how you feel, but Gleyber long-term deal, what do you think?
I'm in the same boat because I'm thinking the same thing. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I really don't. I love Gleyber. I really do. And I think he's great and he's a solid player for them. And I just don't know because there's so many things in question for next season and the season after because of things that have happened in previous seasons. We don't know how the team's going to look. We could be in a downtrend here for a little bit because there might not be anything the Yankees can do to fix the team in the short term. And I don't know how smart it would be to sign him to a long-term deal. But I mean, personally, as a Yankee fan, I love Gleyber and I don't want to see him go anywhere else. But business-wise, I'm not sure what the move would be.
Long-term is subjective here as well.
True.
So 6-7, absolutely not.
That's definitely not.
If you're thinking that as long-term, no. 3 to 4, I don't hate.
I don't hate that either. I was thinking 3, 4.
Would provide you with really good depth and give you a good problem to have.
Right.
As in, let's say Volpe sticks, Oswald hits, and Cabrera's still in the mix. Then you still have Trey Sweeney coming up. You have Andres Chaparro. So there are guys that still are giving you options, but Gleyber, who has been healthy this year, gives you a potential like mainstay in your lineup. And even if he's, other guys battle out and take those positions, Gleyber is still a really, really good bench option. So I he could, I know he sticks mostly at second, so that's what kind of makes it a little tougher. But you could always teach him a little bit of third. You could always maybe try and slide him over to short to fill in on occasion. Like, you get by with Gleyber, and I don't think it's a bad idea. If you're not going to trade him, I'm not mad at having him stick around.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the health thing because I was thinking the same thing before you said it. I was like, and he's been healthy too. He's been one of the more durable guys on this team.
It's kind of Kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Eric, for your question. This next one is coming from Albert, a new subtexter. So much so that this was like the first or second text they sent us. Albert saying, happy to be aboard. What do you think the chances are that Sean Casey is the hitting coach next season, Stacy? Sean Casey stick around?
There's a better chance of me being the hitting coach in 2024 than Sean Casey. Because I don't think Aaron Boone's sticking around. So I don't think Sean Casey would be sticking around either. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of getting at as well, that you're thinking it could go in many directions as how intense this becomes, because it could go all the way to Cashman is gone, new GM, new coaching staff, new front office. It could go that far. Will it? TBD.
Yeah.
Maybe not likely, but still possible. So, like they said, they're going to be looking internally at everything, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I don't think Sean Casey couldn't be the
right.
hitting coach next season. I don't think that's the case.
Right.
Because, they did sing the praises of it. Cashman did the other day, saying like, oh, well, he does have a good connection with the players, yada, yada, yada. So maybe that builds and works. I don't know. But as far as him, chances, if I'm putting a number on it, I put 20%, 25%, somewhere around there. Around there. Thank you, Albert, for your question. This is our last one from our subtexters here today, Stacy. This is coming from Mike, who is also new. Thank you, Mike, for joining Subtext. I really appreciate it. Saying, hey, Steve and Stacy, just started listening this year. Y'all are great. You're great, Mike. Fanmail Friday. What are your thoughts on jerseys with names on the back? Would you only wear the authentic no-name jersey or indifferent to them both? Stacy, I have thoughts on this one, but I'll let you go first. Names on the back of jerseys, yes or no?
No. I don't like the ones with the names on the back. Not how the uniform is. I wear the, whatever they call them, the shirts with the names on the back, because they're jerseys. I'll wear that, but no, I know it's so obnoxious. And I understand there's a price difference and everything, which is why I don't own a bunch of jerseys, because they're way too expensive for me to, buy a ton of them. But yeah, no, I don't like the names on the back, because that's just not the way the uniform is. If the uniform had names on the back, yes, of course I would. But no, that's not how, and I like, if I wore a 25, people would think I was wearing it for Gleyber Torres, even though I was probably wearing it for Jason Giambi.
Wow. I'm going to expand that question out, however. Should they have the names on the back of the jerseys on the field then?
I think they should have at least one version of the uniform, maybe not the home pinstripes, but I feel like they need to expand the road uniforms. And my brother and I have had conversations about this, but I feel like they could do the navy top with the New York and the gray pants like they do during spring training. Some version of that would be really cool. I feel like they need to have more versions of the road jersey.
Yeah, I hate the grays. I think
they need to get with it. Just do something different. And we're in the 2020s now, guys. Let's
all
do
grays
something.
Are terrible. Hate them. I hate them. Flat out hate those jerseys. I think they're bargain bin jerseys.
They're just boring. It's even if they did the same New York on the road but navy, it would be so much better.
Burn them. Hate them. Hate them. Road grays, ugly. I just in general, I don't like road grays at all. I typically really despise road grays in every uniform across baseball. I'll buy that. Don't on the pinstripes. Okay, if you want to keep one clean look, but we'll see. Does the City Connects have it? That is interesting. Well,
because think about the Red Sox home jersey, like the white jersey that they normally wear. They don't have names on the back either. Yeah. And as much as I'm a Yankee fan and don't like the Red Sox, red is my favorite color. And if I didn't despise the Red Sox so much, I would wear a Red Sox jersey because I love the font. I love the numbers on the back. I just love that uniform so much. Don't kill me for saying that. But.
I'm anti that. I want names on the back of those jerseys. That drives me crazy. The pinstripes, I understand it gets a little busy. I get that.
Yeah.
But Oh, we could go for hours. Maybe this is an off-season one. This is an off-season one. We'll see you here in a month.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to our subtexters. Again, you can join subtext. We have now our YouTubers. This one's coming from Vincent M. Durham, 1695. Will anybody be held accountable for the failure of the 2023 season, or will be business as usual? Love the podcast, by the way. Thank you, Vincent. We love you. Stacy, accountability. Short supply these days around all of baseball. Is anybody going to be held accountable?
I don't think the right people will be.
That's the answer.
Yeah, I don't think the right people will be held accountable. I think you're going to see like Boone go, and it's going that he's again like Dylan Lawson was the scapegoat. Aaron Boone's going to be the scapegoat, and I feel like they brought Cashman out this week to speak about this stuff as a way for them to say he's not going anywhere. Yeah. He's accepting this. He's not going anywhere, and he's going to be the one to turn things around, even though he's the one that made it the way it is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Thank you guys for your questions. We appreciate it. We have more questions. We're going to step aside one more time. Let's get to a couple of more before the end of the week. Back here on Locked On Yankees. Don't forget Yankees and Rays now meeting at the Trop, Stacy's favorite ballpark in all of baseball. This weekend starts tonight on SiriusXM. You can download the SiriusXM app today. All right, we got a couple more questions before we get out of here on this Friday. This one's coming from YouTube at Sid4RE. You said, specifically talking to me, earlier this year, Austin Wells was still 2 to 3 years away from being a regular in the lineup. Do you still believe this? I'm going to still stick with yes here. And I'm going to go ahead and point to how the Yankees have operated. Remember the reason why I said Wells was 2 to 3 years away from being a regular in the lineup was because of the contracts that are in front of him. This is with the caveat, of course, as it always is, that this is how you anticipate things to go. If people get hurt, then Austin Wells is the next guy, of course. But the way that Higgy and Trevino's contracts are, with still a couple of years left on him, that's why I think you're not going to see regular Wells playing time. He would have to really leapfrog. He'd have to leapfrog Ben Rortvedt, which you're not putting it however many weeks it's been. Yeah, he's betting 100. Yeah, it's only been a couple of weeks. Relax. Right. So he'd have to leapfrog Rortvedt in order for that to happen. Am I going to put that away from him? No. But there are still some defensive questions about Austin Wells behind the plate, which... Look, I don't think Rortvedt's the next Yadier Molina or anything here, but he's a solid catcher. So as far as that is concerned, Wells would have to leapfrog in a big way. Either offensively has to be no question, there's no way you can't put this guy in the lineup, or his defense has to improve. I'm not going to say drastically, but like at a good margin in order for you to be like, okay, he's the better option than Ben Rortvedt. So it's just a bit of a logjam, and without injuries, that's why I say that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick strong with that one. Thank you for asking that question. This one's now coming from at Max Paff. I believe this is a new question person. Stacy asking us, if the Yankees were to fire Cashman, the consensus is he would become a GM elsewhere very quickly. However, could you see another team offer Boone a managerial role? I have a feeling that he would land back as a commentator. Stacy, one, I'm going to say, I don't know if where the general consensus you're pulling that from is, but I mean, Brian Cashman has made mistakes. There is no denying there are mistakes made. So I don't know if it would be like the second he left, all right, he walks into the Cleveland front office. Right. But that's besides the point. How do you see that in Aaron Boone's favor, Stace? Do you think Boone would get another managerial job quickly?
No. I feel like it might be like a situation where he could be a commentator for a bit there. But you never know, because I mean, there are teams that are probably going to be looking for managers at the end of this season. But I don't know. I don't feel like
one of them.
Right. I don't feel like it's. I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be right away.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams that are. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals tried to switch things up again after how bad this season has gone. Again, the Angels. You never know. You never know. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past Boone to find another managerial job by next season.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it a couple of times. Yeah, he's made mistakes. and we don't agree with everything he's done, but I don't think he's a terrible manager by any stretch. He's had a really, really rocky road this season, and he's managed it. I mean, a lot of teams would be a lot worse than 4 under. I'll say that much.
That's true.
When you only score 1 run a game, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him also become like a third base coach or something in that regard.
Right.
Take the Ron Washington route.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked at that either, especially for like a shorter thing. And then he's always looking for the managerial role again. I wouldn't be.
Yeah, because he has friends all around baseball. And if someone needs him to come in and join their staff or something and be some sort of like a bench coach or some sort of either first base, third base, something like that, I could see that happening too. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Thank you, Max Paff, for your question. This is our last one for the day. This is coming from a regular at Jonah Burks. Should the Yankees go into the 2024 season with 2 rookie outfielders, or should the Yankees go after Bellinger? With around $65 million coming off the books, Bellinger could be had. Belly could transition to first to make room in the outfield when Dominguez is ready. Stacy, this isn't a terrible idea.
No.
Bellinger, as we've mentioned, does have the option. I believe it's a mutual. Don't quote me on that. I think he has a mutual or a club or something. He does have some sort of option for 2024. So it's not a foregone conclusion that he is a free agent in 2024. But let's say he is for this question. I don't hate this idea. I think, I mean, the way his bat has played this year would be a massive boon. He's a left-handed bat. He can play multiple positions. He could play center field. He could play left field. He could play first base. There's a lot of upside with Bellinger. How are you feeling about what Jonah Burks is saying?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all, because all I think of is left-handed bat in Yankee Stadium, because on Wednesday, Bryce Harper hit a home run that tied the game against the Giants, and all I saw was his left-handed swing, and I thought to myself, that would look so good at Yankee Stadium. And I feel the same way with guys like Cody Bellinger, plus the whole Clay Bellinger thing, and it would be kind of fun if he came to the Yankees just because of his dad's role in the dynasty. I mean, it wasn't a big role, but everyone remembers Clay Bellinger, so I think it could be fun. And the fact that he can play a few positions would actually really help.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Again, it's a little bit of a gamble. You don't know if it's going to carry past this season. I think of guys like Trey Mancini. You know, he has an incredible comeback season, then he kind of falls off a cliff, and then he's not playing anywhere right now. So things like that can happen, have happened, and will continue to happen. Is Cody Bellinger the next to fall victim to that? We don't know. But we'll see. There's a lot of upside to that bat, but there is a certain downside. You know that much, because when it's bad, it is bad. So we'll see. I also don't hate going to rookie outfielders. Again, we've talked about Jason Dominguez ad nauseum. This week alone, we've talked about him like 3 different times. So I feel like that would be a pretty quick rush to the majors if he starts the season in 2024 with the big club, let alone in center field. I feel like they need some sort of stopgap in the outfield to help out before Dominguez is ready. So that's how I think about that. Let us know how you feel about that down below here on YouTube. Of course, Fanmail Friday. Every Friday, you guys run the show. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. We really appreciate them. And sorry we can't get to all of them. That's just the nature of the beast. For the everydayers out there, don't forget, coming up on Monday, Minors Monday. Man, we've been talking about the minor leagues a lot recently, and we're going to keep doing that on the show on Monday. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And that's going to do it for another week and another episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you on Monday.